Hi, I'm Danny Quinn, and welcome to the latest episode of First Impressions. On tonight's episode, I travel to Skull Island in search of Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. The movie is set in the 1970s at the end of the Vietnam War, and a group of scientists and soldiers, led by John Goodman's government official, have banded together for a mysterious expedition. It's a rather strange mix, a group of soldiers led by Samuel L. Jackson's Volvo Colonel, an SAS captain played by Tom Hiddleston, an anti-war photographer played by Brie Larson. When they finally arrive on the island, they discover it is home to many monsters, and most notably the legendary King Kong. The original 1933 King Kong is not only an iconic movie, but also an important one as well. A timeless tale of Beauty and the Beast that featured, for its time, very innovative special effects, and it's a film that I think most of today's blockbusters can kind of owe something of a debt to. And the characters appeared in several films over the years, including 2 remakes, most notably Peter Jackson's 2005 remake, as well as the 1960s King Kong vs Godzilla. And considering Warner Bros. Is trying to launch a sort of big monster movie franchise, it's no surprise they're trying to get Godzilla and King Kong in a similar shared universe, much like what Marvel and DC are trying to do. I just hope they can try and pull it off without stealing most of Marvel's cast. And seeing as I am a fairly big fan of the character King Kong, I was quite excited for this movie. Not only because it's a monster movie, but also because I was liking where they were going with the tone, there's a lot of great talent involved, and also the advertising really kind of gave me a good impression of the movie and really sold me on what they were trying to do. What did I think of it? I think it could have been better. I think I gotta stress one thing, I don't think this movie is bad. It's pretty good for what it is, it's entertaining, it's quite fun, but it's also very heavily flawed in my opinion. And usually I'll discuss the good things, the things I like about the movie first, but in this case I'm actually going to start with the things I don't like about it, to get them out of the way. My first big issue of this movie, I think, is its wasted potential. There's a scene between John Goodman and Samuel L. Jackson about midway through the movie, and you're thinking it's going to lead to some sort of animosity and tension between them, but it doesn't really go anywhere in the long run. In fact, John Goodman in general, I think, is wasted in the movie. He's playing this government official who set this entire expedition in motion, so you'd think he'd have more of an overarching presence in the movie, but he really doesn't. In fact, he just kind of fades into the background for a good chunk of the movie, and half the time I kind of forgot he was there. But my biggest problem with this movie, for me personally, is its first act. It has the same problem as the 2005 movie in that it just has a hard time beginning, but once it kind of picks up, it does begin to get good again, thankfully. Except sort of the opposite, whereas the 2005 movie took forever to get started, this I think gets started a little too quickly. It just kind of rushes past a lot of the character introductions and all just so that it can get to the monster as quickly as possible. And I think that might have been done in response to the fact that everyone's complained about how Godzilla didn't show up much in the recent Godzilla movie, or that King Kong didn't show up until about an hour into the 2005 film. I can understand it's very difficult to create a monster like that because you have to show it, and you also got to be careful with how you show it, because if you show it too much then you just kind of ruin the surprise, but if you don't show it enough, you don't satisfy the viewer. And it's all about creating balance. But this movie, like the 2005 film, as well as the recent Godzilla movie, just kind of struggle with creating a perfect balance. Another problem I have with this movie is Kong's introduction. There's no real build up to it, he just sort of appears and that's it. It's a far cry from how he's introduced in the original film, and even like the Peter Jackson remake. I mean, he just sort of shows up, and the action scene that sort of ensues because of it isn't really all that impressive. It's shot way too close, it's very murky, you can't see much, and it even manages to make an uninterrupted take look unimpressive, so no points for me there. So you're probably thinking I don't like this movie, which is not the case. I actually did quite enjoy it. I found it entertaining overall. There are aspects of the movie I like. I think once that sort of first act gets out of the way, the movie actually does begin to pick up a fair bit. I think one of the issues most people seem to be having with this movie, and I will agree with to an extent, is the characters. They're not very well written, they're not very interesting, and I really think it is a testament to the lead actors that you care about the characters as much as you do. And whilst they're not great, you still care about them, you still grow to like them as the movie goes on, thankfully, and it does help that the performances are overall very good. Tom Hiddleston, I think, does a really good job in the lead role, playing this very jaded SAS captain. Brie Larson, I think, is really good as this anti-war photographer, and I like how they don't try to make her into Anne Darrow again. I'm glad they don't go down that direction. They sort of hint at it, but don't outright go in that direction. They don't make her a sacrifice or anything like that. And whilst John Goodman is somewhat wasted in the role, I think he actually does a fairly good job of what he's given. And the likes of Toby Kebbell, Corey Hawkins, Jason Mitchell, and John C. Reilly, I think make for very strong supports. But easily the best actor and possibly the best character in the movie is Samuel L. Jackson, playing this very volatile, unpredictable colonel. He's got a real grudge against Kong because Kong has killed quite a few of his men. And I like how he's so obsessed with catching and killing Kong that he's completely ignorant to any of the other dangers that are present on this island. And Jackson really nails the part. I think he's very creepy, he's very chilling, he's very effective in the role. And whilst the action scenes initially kind of suck, they do get better as the movie goes on, especially the monster fights and the monster attacks. They're very suspenseful, they're very well filmed, CGI I think is very good. And even though I did complain about the Kong attack initially being quite mucky and dirty and murky, I like the murkiness of the film. I like how it looks quite dirty and grimy, almost like Apocalypse Now to an extent. I think it actually really complements the tone of the movie they're going for. And finally, let's talk about Kong himself, the title character. He's much bigger, much more gigantic than we've seen him before. And I'm pretty sure this is only so that he can actually have a chance of going up against Godzilla in the inevitable King Kong vs. Godzilla movie. Which I'm really looking forward to, by the way. I hope that's good. And overall, I really like this interpretation of Kong. It's a little less human-like, a little more animalistic than the Kong we saw in the 2005 film. But I think it works really well, and Terry Notary does a really good job in the motion capture suit, and the CGI overall looks really good on him. I will admit I do miss Andy Serkis's portrayal of Kong, but Notary does a fine job in his own rights. All in all, I liked Kong Skull Island, but I don't quite love it. As I mentioned earlier, the clunky first act, the thin characterizations, and somewhat wasted potential do sort of hold it back a bit for me. But if you like monster movies, I definitely recommend seeing it. You could definitely do a lot worse in this category. It definitely gets a solid 7 out of 10 from me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back soon with reviews for Get Out and Beauty and the Beast, and an update on content I'm hoping to do in the future. Once again, thank you for watching. I'm Danny Quinn. Good night.